Democracy and Judaism. The Torah does not specify any one single economic or political system. There are different paradigms, with the implication that different times require different solutions. We read about Moses, Moshe, Judges, Shoftim, Kings, Malachim, and also of Kohanim, both hereditary and meritocratic. But if you look at the examples of Talmudic and medieval government, times when Jews were largely autonomous but subject to the dominant regimes they lived under, you would come across lots of examples of local government based on consent. The elders of the community, Tovei Ha'ir, Va'adim, committees, and of course the famous Va'ad Arba Aratzot, the Council of the Four Lands that dominated Eastern European Jewry from the 16th to the 18th century, where each kahal, each community, sent representatives. You might argue that communal life was not representative for everyone, but it was dominated by the rich and the powerful and religious authorities in league with each other, and often to the detriment of the poor. But that was an abuse of power which exists everywhere. Nevertheless, the idea of representation was established, and the ideas were challenged and examined through the process of Sheilot and Tshuvot, responsa, to find as good a conclusion and a system as they were able to. Democracy now is, of course, a very loose term, and until relatively recently there was no example of democracy, true democracy. If one thinks of how districts were gerrymandered, the ability of people to buy and sell votes, and the whole structure of abuse of power that has existed and does exist, the difference between proportional representation and constituency, these are all issues that don't detract from the principle of democracy. So I accept its limitations. I'm not arguing for a specific system. I agree with Winston Churchill's famous statement that democracy is the worst form of government except for all others. However, I believe that the grosser deficiencies of politicized religion and religious authority are more dangerous. In Israel and elsewhere, we've seen how corrupt religious authority is. Money and power override individual sensitivity. The alternative is freedom to challenge, freedom to choose, to express one's views, and it's through this area of freedom of expression that we are more likely to come to consensus and a fair form of government than by religious dogma, or indeed secular dogma. And this is what I mean by democracy more than any specific system. I see no basis at all in Jewish law or tradition for denying this right.